Hey everybody, Aaron J. Anderson here. I am in Old Town Buford, Georgia, and today we're going to look at some lenses that I have. Now, I've tested many lenses. I've tried the Noctitron or Nocticron, or however you say it, f1.2 lens, 42.5 millimeter, the Olympus 45 millimeter f1.2, and various other lenses actually. But today, these are the kind of the lenses that I think I'm going to be going with, and I just wanted to see how they render the scene as far as portraits are concerned. Now, I'm waiting for my wife, who should be here soon, and we're going to do like a mid shot and then a full body shot of her sitting on a bench over here. We're just going to see how these lenses look, basically. Now, I do a lot of apples and orange tests because these tests are usually for me. I'm just curious, and a lot of other people might be curious in these lenses, but I'm going to take you through the lenses I'm going to do in this test today, and that is the 12 to 35 millimeter. This is the Mark II f2.8, and we're going to do this at 35 millimeters, which is going to be a 70 millimeter equivalent. And I'll have to apologize about the audio. I forgot my cable that makes it sound better. We'll just say that. So it might be a little harsh on the ears, but anyways, we're going to be shooting it at 70 millimeters at a 2.8 equivalent, which is an f5.6 full frame equivalent. And that's where we're just going to shoot that one right there. And then we're going to for shits and giggles, we're going to do the Panasonic 20 millimeter f1.7. Now, this is a 40 millimeter equivalent, and f1.7 is like a 2.4-ish equivalent as far as the depth of field you're going to get. And which it's not ideal for portraiture, but I have used it before when it's kind of the only lens I had. But we're going to see how that looks. Then we're going to jump into the Panasonic 42.5 millimeter f1.7. So that's your 85 millimeter f2.4-ish lens. I think it's f2.4. I'm kind of going off just my memory there. And then we're going to go to the Olympus 60 millimeter f2.8 macro lens. This lens is pretty sharp, and at 60 millimeters at f2.8, that's f5.6 equivalent. 60 millimeters times the two crop factor is 120-ish millimeters, so full frame equivalent. And then we're going to go into the one that I liked the most for many years shooting with Micro Four Thirds, and that is 35 to 100. Now, this is the Mark II version. It's an f2.8 lens, so we're talking, and again, we're going to be zooming all these in that can zoom, so that's going to be a 200 millimeter equivalent at f5.6. And now, before you say, if you're coming from full frame, that's not shallow enough for you. When it comes to shallow depth of field for me, I'm not one of those who just really care about blurring the background into smithereens. I just, I've dabbled in it and I like it and I do it sometimes, but for most of my photo shoots in full frame, I'm usually shooting at about an f1.8, but usually at an f2.8 to f5.6, and that's only because I like to have both eyes in focus. I think the photo looks better when the whole face is in focus, and then you've got whatever blur in the background you got, depending on your how far you are from the background, and it's enough to separate the subject from the background, even at f5.6 on full frame. So that's a lens we're going to try. So in a minute, my wife is going to come down here, and I'm going to set her up on the bench. We'll turn you back on, and you can see behind the scenes of us doing that. So stay tuned. Okay, so my wife arrived. There she is, all dialed up on the bench. And what I'm going to do with each lens, like I said, I'm going to zoom all the way in on the zoom lenses. I'm just going to walk up, use my feet to compose a tight shot, then use my feet to come back in a full length type of shot of her sitting on the bench. So let's get started. Some of these lenses are kind of wide. Yeah, we'll do like a tight shot like this. Maybe go back. Okay, that's good. I'll try to block the trash can. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1. There's a truck. 1, 2, 3. Stay right there. 1, 2, 3. Stay right there. Don't move. I'm going to try to keep the same thing on all these different lenses. Let me just get this composed right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to change lenses. Try to stay right there. And I'm just going to switch out these lenses as quick as I can. Okay, so now we're going to go with the 20 millimeter. I want to try to do this quick so she doesn't move so much. So we'll get the tight shot first. I have to change some settings here. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, stay there. Now full body. 1, 2, 3. One more. Okay, now I'll change lenses. It's kind of hard when you're doing all these switching of lenses on this stuff. I'm trying to be quick so the model doesn't have to sit there too long. So this is the 42.5 f1.7. Oops. Already this one looks amazing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's wait till the car. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Now full body. Back a little far. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let me do one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we'll change lenses. Almost done. This next one is going to be the Olympus 60mm macro. This is going to be f2.8. Gotta slow the shutter down a little bit. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now let me do full body. Back a little more. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. One more lens, hon. You're doing great. Very good. Okay, guys, now we're going to do the... I'm running out of breath. Now this is going to be the 35 to 100. This is my favorite over the years. This is going to be a 200mm equivalent, so let me zoomed in pretty far. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now stay there, full body. Almost done. This one really looks gorgeous. Let me go back a little further. We're at 200mm, guys, so that's pretty long. Here we go. Let me go a little more to get that bow in there. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Stay there. Let me see if I can get the whole thing. Just for the best shot here. 1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3. Let's see where I'm at. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, so there you go. I'm actually out of breath running around doing the lenses. My wife did amazing. She tried to stay in the exact same position. Now I tried to keep the composition the same as much as possible, but running around with lenses and trying not to have my wife, the model, be uncomfortable was kind of hard. But anyways, we'll get back to the iPad and we're going to see what these look like. Stay tuned. That's it, hon. Bye. Hey everybody, Aaron J. Anderson here. So we are at the iPad, and I don't want to make this video long, so we're just going to run through these real quick. So let's go through each lens first, and then I'll give you my take on it. So first up is the 12 to 35mm f2.8, and again, these are all zoomed as long as they are. So this is 70mm f5.6 equivalent, and I was surprised how sharp this lens is. This is the Mark II version, and if we zoom up on her eyes, I mean, that looks pretty darn good, right? But in my opinion, I don't like the road back there, so I would have to go lower, but that would change the composition, then we'd get too much sky, blah, blah, blah. So 70mm full frame equivalent is not enough for this shot for me. So this is what it looks like with me just using my feet and moving back to get the full body. Again, compositionally, I don't like it. There's just too much sky in my opinion, and the compression just isn't enough for me. So I wouldn't use 70mm for this shot. If we go to the 20mm, which is a 40mm equivalent at f3.4, now we're throwing the background even further, not out of focus, but further away. Everything's getting tinier, and it just doesn't look pleasing. You can see I cut her shoulder off, working quick, but I didn't want to see the trash can on the left of her. That's why I cut her shoulder off. Yes, we could have moved her, but then the bow would have been behind her, that bow in the far back there on that light post. So this would not be 40mm shot for me. And here's what it looks like
you know, it just looks boring. We're starting to look iPhone-ish to me. It just doesn't do anything for the photo. Here we are at 42.5 f1.7, so that is an 85 millimeter f3.4. Sorry, my mom is sleeping, so we're trying to keep quiet here. But anyways, now we're talking. That looks pretty darn good. It's got the right amount of background blur for me. It's almost too blurry to where you don't know what that pink, that red thing is in the upper right hand corner. That is a bow. So, you know, I've said many times, I stop down quite a bit. One reason I like to stop down is I like to get the whole head in focus, and then whatever the background blur gives me. I'm not one of those who really care to smear the background into complete blurriness. I like my subject completely sharp in focus from left to right eye, even the back. When I do photos for like bridal magazines, they want the jewelry and the clothing to be sharp, so that's very important to me. So even on full frame, I'm shooting at f2.8, f5.6, and even on Micro Four Thirds, if I zoom in here, you know, her left eye is getting out of focus, and the tip of her ear at the top is starting to get a little blurry. Even the jewelry is just a little bit blurry. So even shooting at f1.7 for me just isn't quite. It's good enough. I mean, I like this photo, but we're getting somewhere here. Now, if we go to here's a wide shot. This looks pretty good. I kind of got her closing her eyes a little bit. We did this really quick, but the background blur is plenty blurry enough for me. We don't see that street no more. We still see the trash can, but you know, I could move it around a little bit, but I'm liking 85 millimeters at f3.4 on here. Okay, so now if we go to the Olympus 60 millimeter f2.8, we're at 120 millimeter full frame equivalent at f5.6, and I've never used this lens in all the 10 years I've been using Micro Four Thirds. It's the first time. The one thing I've noticed really quick is it is super sharp. I mean, this might be one of the sharpest lenses I've had on Micro Four Thirds. I mean, that is killer sharp. I mean, that is stunning. This really threw me back. And what I like about the f2.8, f5.6 full frame equivalent is the whole side of her head is in focus, the front of her face is in focus, both eyes are in focus, the jewelry's in focus, the whole front of her body's in focus. I mean, this is what I like. And the human eye always goes to the most contrasty and the most whatever's in focus. And you do not have to blur the background into smithereens to get a separation. That's kind of, I've been hearing that going around the internet. All you need is a little bit of blur in the background and a very sharp subject, and you've got separation. And that's what we're getting here with the Olympus 60 millimeter. This threw me for a loop here, and I got to start shooting a little more with this to see if this is the lens for me, because this is just like, oh man, that's just crazy. I mean, we're talking about a 20 megapixel Micro Four Thirds, and I could take this image here and just crop it right here, and that's just absolutely stellar. So we'll go into that in a minute. And this is what it looks like. I mean, the compression is beautiful, 120 millimeters. The sharpness is just outstanding. I mean, this is gorgeous. I like this lens a lot, and I bought it for product photography, but I thought I would try it, and I'm liking it. Now here's the 35 to 100. This is a very nice lens because it is pretty darn sharp. I would say it's almost as sharp as that 60 millimeters, but not quite. But plenty of sharpness that I would never hesitate to use this because of sharpness issues. In fact, I probably use this lens, when I look back at my Micro Four Thirds history, I probably use this lens the most, actually. And what we got here is a sharp image. We've got nice compression. We've got blurry background. We're at that f5.6 full frame equivalent at 200 millimeters, which means her whole entire head is in focus, the jewelry is in focus, and the whole front of her is in focus. And this is, for me, with that 60 millimeter and this 200 millimeter f5.6 on Micro Four Thirds is the key to my style. I mean, she's completely in focus in the background. But if you, well, we'll go into these side by side, but that looks great to me. It might be a little low, I don't know, but it looks great to me. And out of all the lenses, having that compression just bring that background up behind her like this, it just looks stellar. So out of all these going through, I like this lens the most as far as what I'm getting. So let's just, I don't want to go too long. Let's look at all of these side by side here. Now you can see the upper left is the 20 millimeter, just way too wide for me. I just never liked the 35. And if we go to the upper right hand corner, 70 millimeter isn't quite cutting it for me. If we go to the bottom left, 85 millimeters. Now we're talking at, I like it. Right hand side, bottom corner, 60 millimeters. Clearly is the sharpest. Even if you don't pixel peep here, you could just see that it has a little more sharpness. And dead in the center, we've got the 35 to 100, which I like. I think I like that the most, and I always did. So that's cool. If we look at the full body shots, again, upper left-hand corner, 20 millimeters, just way too wide. It just looks boring to me. Upper right-hand corner, that's that 70 millimeter equivalent. It's starting to look okay, but a little boring anyways. And if we look at the bottom left, 85 millimeter, starting to look good. 60 millimeter, I like the compression even more. And then the 35 to 100, that just looks stellar to me. The 60 and the 35 actually looks pretty good. Now, if we go to this, here's what I'm talking about. Now, this is, if we talk about full frame equivalents, we've got an 85 on the left, we've got a 120 in the middle, and we've got 200 millimeter on the right. Which one do I like best? I mean, either one of these would work. I would still probably go with the 100 because that bow on that lamp was kind of one of the reasons why I chose this spot. So it looks good. But that 60 also looks good because we've got a nice composition. We can see more of the flowers. We could see, her left shoulder. Of course, I could back up more with the 200 to get that. But, and I like how the trees are on the left and the right of her in the middle photo. That's the 120 millimeter equivalent. So really, I think I might probably prefer that 60 millimeter in this situation. Of course, give me a little more time with the other ones. I might have come up with a similar composition. And if you look at the 42, which is the 85 millimeter on the left, we can see the trash can here. But the other ones, because the field of view is narrower, we don't see it. So it's that's why I like these better too. In the end, the 35 to 100 has both of those focal lengths to its left and wider. So it has the 100, it has the 60 millimeter, the 42 millimeter, and the 35 millimeter. So that 35 to 100 is so usable. It's almost as sharp as the 60. You can bring that background as close as you want, or throw it as far as you want, at least up to the wide, further than these other two. So I would probably choose that 35 most of the time. I would choose the 42.5, 1.7 in low light situations, or if I really want to blur the background, because you can see even at 200 millimeter at f2.8, it's not quite as blurry as the f1.7 millimeter on the left. And of course, the 60 isn't quite as blurry as the other two because it's f5.6 at 120 millimeter equivalent. But really, if I look at this, I would probably choose the 60. If I were to take these and want to post this somewhere or give it to a client, I would probably choose, just out of these three photos, that 60 millimeter, because we can see the lamp in the back, which I wanted to see, and the lamp and the bow. So anyways, don't want to ramble on anymore. Let me know in the comments which lens you like out of these three here, because this was kind of a portrait test, even though I did the wide shots just for fun. Which one do you like the best out of these three? And maybe you like the 20, which was everybody had to each his own. Anyways, if you want to see more videos on these lenses and sharpness and all that stuff, stay tuned. I will be doing some of those in the meantime. So give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.